At this time, we call to order the special meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals on April 9th, 2025. And we have a roll call, please.
Ms. Chester? Mr. Cho? Ms. McLaughlin?
Here.
Mr. Roosh? Ms. Utman? Here. Mr. Warmbrun?
Here.
And Mr. Welch?
Here, we have a quorum. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda.
Thank you. I understand the minutes have not been compiled yet, so are there any written communications?
We did receive one email from Joanne Buddy regarding the complaint and court case that was filed by Behringer Commons homeowners against the ZBA. It was comments about how the case's resolution was characterized. Does not have any bearing on tonight's meeting, but it's there for your reading.
All right, thank you. Do we have any continued public hearings?
No.
Then at this time, I will swear in anyone who wants to speak tonight. Do you swear or affirm that anything that you testified to about tonight will be true and accurate to the best of your belief? Thank you. At this time, then, I call for hearing case number ZBA 2025 C-0101, a request by, can you help me with the pronunciation of your name, please?
No worries. Yeah, my first name is Zainab, and my last name is Kalkarawala.
By Ms. Kalkawala for a conditional use permit to allow a second principal structure at 602 West High in the R3 single and two-family residential zoning district. And we have a staff report, please.
Yes. Good evening, ZBA. Zainab Kalkatawala requests a conditional use permit to create a second principal structure on the property by adding a bathroom and kitchenette to the existing detached garage. Section 53C of the Urbana zoning ordinance allows more than one principal structure on a lot with a conditional use permit. The board may vote to approve with conditions, or deny the application. The board should either accept the specific staff findings or articulate their own specific findings based on the application's criteria. Staff recommend that the Zoning Board of Appeals approve the conditional use permit, finding that the conditional use criteria have been met. The site located here at the northwest corner of the intersection of South Orchard Street and West High Street is almost 11,000 square feet, which is large for this neighborhood. It is located at the northwest corner of West High and South Orchard Streets in the West Urbana neighborhood. The property was platted in 1858. The 1.5-story home was built in 1903 and has approximately 1,960 square feet of floor area. Until sometime after 1988, a home was located west of the current garage in what is now the large rear yard. So here is the main house of 602 West High, the garage that was there at the time, and then there was another home located in what is now the rear yard of the property. So approximately the same housing density would be restored. In 2005, the previous owners were granted a minor variance to replace the existing garage with a larger garage with a height exceeding the maximum height of 15 feet on the condition that the style of the garage generally conform to the architectural style of the home, which they did. The applicant wants to add a kitchenette and bathroom to the existing living area in the garage to create a dwelling in the upper story. The first floor would continue to be used as a garage. The surrounding area contains mostly single-family homes. There are also some duplexes, group homes, condominiums, apartment buildings, and a church in the surrounding area. The red stars show the locations of nearby two-dwelling homes, and the green stars show the locations of condominiums, group homes, and multifamily homes. The north side of West High Street is zoned R3, single and two-family residential, while the south side is zoned R2, single family. West Green Street to the north is zoned MOR, mixed office residential. The property and land to the south is designated for residential uses in the 2005 comprehensive plan. Land to the north is designated for mixed residential. The R3 zoning district permits an attached second dwelling by right in the form of a duplex. Because the proposed activity is detached, a conditional use permit is required to allow the second principal structure. The total number of people who could potentially live on the property would be the same as a duplex would allow. The proposed dwelling would have a bathroom, a kitchenette, a sleeping area upstairs with parking and storage downstairs. The building footprint would not change. The required parking would be provided by 2 spaces in the garage and 2 on the access drive. On-street parking along High Street and Orchard Street is available through the West Urbana Residential Parking Permit Program. That's on one side of the streets only. The proposal complies with all other R3 development regulations, including lot area and width, floor area ratio, open space, parking, and yard requirements. The property also meets the additional lot area and width requirements that apply to duplexes. So we've got some photos of the site. This is looking at the garage from the southwest corner. You can see the upstairs. There is already a living area there that was, as part of the original construction when the variance was granted. And it was over the top of a 2-car parking area on the first floor. Looking at it straight from the south, you can see that the driveway would accommodate 2 cars out front with 2 cars inside. Looking at it from the southeast, and then a little further to the east, you can see the space between the house and the garage. There it is from the corner. You can see that the house sits further back than the neighboring homes there on Orchard Street. And you can see this a little further back as well. So looking at the location, looking west, I found that it was very sparsely occupied by parked cars. And similarly, looking east, there were no cars there on High Street. So if there was additional people visiting the home, should not be a problem to accommodate them. Looking north up Orchard Street and south down Orchard Street, very little parking occupied. Let's see. Staff did, if the conditional use permit is approved, the construction would be subject to required building safety and zoning reviews typical for any renovation. Staff did publish a legal ad in the News Gazette and sent letters to 46 neighboring property owners and posted 2 public hearing signs on the property. Staff received letters of support to the request. That is the second document that I handed out. We received letters from Richard Cahill, which shares a property line with the site. A letter from C.K. Gonzalez and Michael Walker, as nearby property owners, and also from Esther Pat, writing in support of this conditional use permit. One quote was, "The size of the accessory use that is proposed to become a principal use is comparable to the size of many single-family homes in the area that are principal uses. The compatible design of the two structures is also a plus." Please look at this case as an example to which you should compare other proposals for two houses on one lot. Very short paraphrasing. So moving on to the requirements for a conditional use permit. The first one, the proposed use is conducive to the public convenience. The location is only 3 blocks from campus, so it's a convenient option for students, staff, and faculty. It's also close to downtown. In addition, adding one dwelling unit to an existing lot in a building that already exists is an example of the small-scale incremental development envisioned in the city's draft comprehensive plan, Imagine Urbana. So staff find this criterion met. The proposed second dwelling would also not be unreasonably detrimental to the neighborhood. Other than a new window, construction would be limited to the interior of the building. Occupancy would be regulated by the Urbana zoning ordinance, and excessive noise would be regulated by the Urbana City Code, as well as by a proposed no loud party clause in the rental agreement. Staff find this criterion met as well. And finally, the proposed second dwelling would preserve the character of the R3 single and two-family residential district, which is intended to provide areas for low-density residential development, quote, including single-family attached and detached dwellings and two-family dwellings. Within a 1-block radius of the property, there are 14 duplexes, 18 apartment buildings, and a condominium complex. Converting an existing garage into one more dwelling would be in character with the neighborhood. So staff find this criterion met as well. The board must determine whether the application and the evidence given at the public hearing justify the granting of the conditional use permit, and whether the proposed use will be in harmony with the general intent of the zoning ordinance and will not be unreasonably injurious or detrimental to the public or the district. The board may impose additional conditions on the operation of the proposed use as are appropriate for the public health, safety, and welfare. The findings are summarized in the staff report, and staff found that the request meets the 3 requirements for granting a conditional use permit. The Zoning Board of Appeals has the following options in this case: approve the conditional use as presented, approve the conditional use along with any additional conditions and requirements as are appropriate, or to deny the conditional use as submitted. Staff recommends that the Zoning Board of Appeals approve the proposed conditional use in case ZBA 2025 C01. I'm happy to answer any questions, and Ms. Calcutta-Walla said she would also be happy to answer questions as well.
Thank you, Marcus. Are there any questions for staff? Hearing none, thank you. Does the applicant wish to be heard? You have to come forward and speak at the mic. You also have to sign in.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you for rescheduling this meeting 1 week early. I really appreciate that. I moved to Urbana in September, so my husband is doing an MFA at UIUC, and honestly, after visiting over the summer, I just felt that the city was really peaceful and really great, and I just wanted to move here and just really establish roots here as well. So it's been great so far. Mostly, that space is really amazing. My main intention is to add the kitchenette and the bathroom because my mom is aging and I moved from Texas originally, so eventually she'll have to move up here, and I just want to make sure that, she'll have like a full space to kind of call her own with a bathroom on the same level. one of the home is beautiful and I love it. It's so historic. But there's no like bathroom on like the main floor level, and there's no like, so she wouldn't have access to like a bedroom or living area where she would have a bathroom on the same level. So that's why, you know, it's having that area have a bathroom and a kitchenette situation that's kind of in one piece would be especially helpful. So that's kind of my main goal. And of course, my mom is still insistent on staying in Texas. As I'm very happy for her. She's very healthy, and you know. But as the years go on, I know that I'll have to support her more in person. And so that is kind of my main goal. But yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant? Hearing none, thank you, ma'am. Is there any additional discussion by the board on this? Again, hearing none, then are we ready then to call this case to vote?
Sure. I move that we approve the conditional use permit in case ZBA-2025-C-01 as submitted.
It's been moved. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Then we'll call this for vote then.
Mr. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. McLaughlin,
Yes.
Ms. Utman,
Yes.
Mr. Warmbrand,
Yes.
Mr. Welch,
Yes,
and Ms. Chester.
Yes.
the motion is approved. Congratulations.
Could I ask for a clarification, just to make sure, Ms. McLaughlin, that you were accepting staff's findings as laid out in the memo?
Yes. How did
Okay.
you want me to phrase that? I just
That-
said as submitted.
You could, okay. I, probably just, you know, with accepting staff's findings.
Got you. Okay.
It's just a confusion between as submitted, like that could be what was laid out in the application
Sure.
versus the staff report.
Yes,
Yep.
I do. I did intend to
Okay,
move to approve them. Wait,
with
say that
staff
again?
findings.
Yeah, based on staff findings.
Perfect,
Okay.
even better. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
We don't need to vote again, do we? All right. Thank you. Is there any old business?
There is not,
Any new business?
there is not.
Well, I'm getting to that. We have no audience, so there's no audience participation. Is there any additional staff report?
Not this time, but the next time I come, we will have a case next month. I plan on giving a very brief staff report to report on some of the cases that you've, you know, decided on in the past, and to let you know what's happened since then. So to maybe show you pictures of homes that have been built, or, you know, conditional uses that have actually gone into operation based on, you know, entitlements that you folks issued. I think you deserve to see the fruits of your labor.
All right. Yes.
How about those bylaws?
We are still on hold on doing bylaws for any of our boards and commissions. I imagine it might follow after our new community development director has come on board, which will hopefully be in the very near future.
You think so?
I am hoping so, because I suffer from it as much as the board and commission members do.
Then the last thing, I guess, is our last case got voted down by the city council.
Correct.
And I sat there and watched, and it seemed to me that they did not understand that we weren't setting a precedent. That was the excuse two people used to vote against it, was that we were setting a precedent for all porches and things. And I just, I don't know how you could make it any clearer to them, but, so maybe you could highlight our defeats as well as our victories.
Well, I actually see that case as a win because Kevin, as zoning administrator, upon their direction, because that was the other half of their statement, was we don't feel that there's a special circumstance or practical difficulty here, but we understand that we get several of these, and maybe that section of the zoning ordinance should be updated. So we're doing a zoning text amendment, I think, coming up this month to make it so that that particular porch could have been built by right. This was a major variance for long bow buoy on Washington Street. Yeah.
What did we vote?
You voted to approve it as presented. They voted no, basically because there wasn't a special circumstance. All the houses on that block were built about that distance back, and they all had, or almost all of them had legally non-conforming porch stairs. One had a legally non-conforming porch. So their situation wasn't special. Everybody in the district has to abide by that requirement of the zoning ordinance, and they were all kind of similarly platted at the same time, built at the same time. So that did not meet their definition of a special circumstance. And because that is considered a threshold criterion to meet, even if they met all the rest of the variance criteria, they didn't meet that initial bar. But not to be worried. Hopefully, if Plan Commission likes the zoning text amendment that was drafted, City Council will be able to, I know I'm on television, they'll be able to put their money where their mouth is and update the zoning ordinance to make it, a little more modern.
So they may be able to put their porch.
Yes, yes. Construction has not started, I mean.
And that was the one, correct me if I'm wrong, but we went against staff recommendation.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the reason staff recommended not to approve it was because it didn't meet that initial,
Yeah.
bar.
Is there any study session?
No, there's not.
All right.
Keep an eye out for the Plan Commission meeting tomorrow night, at which Kevin will be bringing Imagine Urbana, the comprehensive plan, hopefully to get a recommendation to go forward to City Council for review and approval.
That concluding all the business for tonight, then I adjourn this meeting.